There we are. Yeah. So, listen, I got to thinking, nobody wants to watch you cleaning an old computer up, Nobody's going to sit here in their chair wasting their valuable time watching somebody cleaning up a computer. Well, this is an old computer case. It's not really a computer, but you know what? Look at this filthy thing. It's just terrible. We got to clean this up and make it look good, like a real computer. Anyway, then I thought, wait a minute. People watch anything. People watch anything on YouTube, man. I'll tell you. I mean, you should see. I mean, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't see the garbage that's out there. I mean, the garbage. I mean, garbage on YouTube. Watch me get censored. Anyway, people watch anything these days. Anything. Oh, look at that. The metal tab. The metal punch-out plate is still there for where you put in a floppy drive. So this one never even had a floppy drive, this poor thing. Alright, well, I think I might have an old floppy drive to put in there. Go ahead, laugh, I'll tell you what. Sometimes you have trouble booting your computer. Nothing will get it up and running like an old floppy drive. But anyway, people will watch anything. And I thought, well, hey, you know what? Let's do it. You don't have to watch this if you don't want to watch this old. This is my Dell. Now, here's the idea. The inspiration that I got was I have another one that's running just like this, by the way. Maybe I should take a video of it. Just show you what it can do. It's amazing. All right. For what it is and how I got it set up. And if it wasn't for that one port that, wasn't too happy about that, being sold a computer with the wrong power supply. But hey, that's what you do. You take your risks on eBay. But, losing two hard drives is the hard part of that. Two 1 terabyte hard drives that cost me. But hey, you live and learn. At that time, I didn't know a lot about hardware. Boy, it sure made me want to learn. Anyway, learn the hard way about hardware. You don't want to learn the hard way about hardware, let me tell you. So, hey, I'm just a regular guy. Okay, that might be stretching it. There's not too much regular about me. At least not according to my wife. Oh, there we go. Bang, boom. I should get those things out of there. Alright. But people watch anything. So I'm cleaning this up. I'm scrubbing it up. There's no circuitry, really, to speak of in this thing at this point. So let's see what's inside, Intel inside. Yeah. That's one thing. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's been together so long. Doesn't know how to be apart, this old thing. Oh, there's some dust and crap in here. We're going to get all this stuff out of here because we don't need it. We're going to clean it up and make it look new-ish. It's not going to look new, but it's going to look new-ish. You know what I mean? Like, look at how faded that is. That's old. All right. Get squeaky clean. All right, we got to pop this off here, or try to at least. Ooh, there it is. Well, look at all these things. It's got the old shield for the I/O, absorbing the any stray electrons that might be scattered somewhere, and the back plate there for the. Oh, it's even got a few of these, All right, that's what here clocking around here. That must be for whatever. Maybe the one's tab here is broken off. It's for the, probably for another case, I'm guessing. Well, actually that's not very redeemable. I'm throwing that away. Alright. The wiring's all here. The wiring's here. It's really dusty inside. I'm going to have to clean all that dust out there, wash it off. The switches. Yeah. Oh yeah, this thing is dirty. But people will watch anything. People will, you know, and you know, at the same time, you get to benefit from the wisdom of the old 60-year-old geezer guy. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I can pull this one off. Well, I don't know if these ones. Oh yeah, it looks like these ones could come up too. Maybe. I don't know. Usually things like this are made permanent, especially I find with Dell. Like they don't slide off so easily. This type of deal, but it has screws, so one would almost think that could be. Have to have a closer look inside. I was thinking that Intel inside. I don't know, but I know one thing. I want to get the front bezel off on this thing. I really do. I want to get the front bezel off of this unit. There. So now the question is, can I pull the front bezel off without pulling the other side panel off? And I think I can. But I'm going to be very gentle because we're going to clean it up. We're going to make this thing look new-ish and usable. But yeah, getting back to me and my buddy back there in my buddy in Quebec. Okay, no, not Montreal. He doesn't live in Montreal. He lives in Quebec. Good friend of mine. Anyway, he knows who he is. He's probably watching this. Probably wondering, oh no, what is that crazy man up to now? There he goes. There we are. Look at that. Now see, this is the thing. This is the bane of computers. Dust over years and years and years accumulates inside your computer, and it compromises your circuitry, your airflow, you name it. It is like next to water, or liquid, humidity. It is the bane of computers. You don't want this stuff blowing around inside your computer. So we're gonna clean that up good. I'm gonna give that a extra special cleaning. I don't know if I can disassemble this any further. I suppose theoretically you could, but I don't know if I really want to take it to that extreme. But we are definitely going to get that vacuumed out and washed out. That's just terrible. But I mean, it's been through like 4 kids and my wife, and originally I think it was mine back in 2002. Somewhere in there. Yes, it's old. It's old, very old. 2000 something. It should say on the certificate, I think, someplace. But yeah, we are going to clean this up. We're going to get this all cleaned up and running. Yes, we are. You better believe it. I think I'm going to take these punch outs too. I'm going to knock those punch outs out because I want to put things in there. I want to make it usable. I want to make this thing, I want to make it fully loaded. You know what I mean? Fully loaded with old parts out of dumpsters and stuff, refurbished parts. Get it up and running. You can do this. Let me tell you something. Anybody can do this. So, yeah, this is a cleanup, scrub down operation here. We're going to get all the dust and all the good strong detergent. I'm going to let it dry out because you know how it is about liquid, right? You don't really want to get liquid in the circuitry. Like here in these USB sticks, for example. Or not USB sticks, USB ports. What am I saying? I sound like an idiot. Okay, alright, we're going to clean this up. Because you are. Whoa. Yes, well, I could tell you some stories. I could tell you a lot of stories, actually. Like, I respect idiots. The word idiot is actually derived from Freudian psychology, where Freud posited that there were essentially 3 components to human psyche. There was the id, the ego, and the super ego. All right, and your super ego kind of reflected your conscience, your higher self, right? And your ego was kind of like your self-esteem. You know, how you felt about yourself. You know, and that's why I always say ego boost. You know, like, you know, it was the less conscionable part, I guess you could say. And then the id, which is a childlike part of you that just demands, you know, the immediate gratification and all that. But listen, if you're an idiot, you get to stay young forever. Well, theoretically, not really. But, you know, I suppose we all got to grow up sometime, right? But I've seen a lot of idiots in my day. Yeah. I think, to some extent, there's a little idiot in us all. Freud would agree. Not that I'm a big fan of Freud. Avoid Freud. Yes, as the song goes, or whatever. I'm not a big fan of Boy George either. I think it's Boy George. Is it Boy George who did the Avoid Freud thing? I don't know. I can't remember who did the Avoid Freud thing. Please don't hold that against me. This is just a matter of opinion. All this stuff is opinionated stuff. And I'm dating myself with some of that really terrible old 80s music. Listen, there was some good music in the 80s, but I have to tell you guys, most of the music in the 80s was horrible. I mean, it was horrible music. I mean, I'm not saying that there wasn't any good stuff out there. And you know, I gotta give some people credit, like Gary Newman, I guess. You know, his In Cars, you know, that Cars. That was kind of neat, you know, like, I mean, computer music. You know, they were trying, right? They were trying. I gotta give some of these innovative new wavers. I don't know if you've even heard, I don't think anybody even remembers new wave music. New wave. So I'm pushing back the clips that hold the wires. See? There's little clips that can be pushed back and then put back in there, right? The cables. So I can get in here and get all the dust and all the sludge and all the grunge out. I'm going to clean this up nice. I am going to restore this. This is going to be my restoration project here. And it's going to work newish. Now it's, you know, some people might even think good as new when I'm done. But I'm doing this because, you know, I see so many people throw away perfectly good computers. I mean, they don't realize they're perfectly good. You know, it's like, it's old, get rid of it, junk it, you know. You know, and there's only maybe a few things that are wrong with it. You know, some parts have worn out. They can be replaced, but oh no, they want the latest, greatest. And, you know, the throwaway society that we have. And I have no idea what impact that's really having on our environment. Or they don't care, you know. They don't think about, you know, listen, you know, don't throw it away. If you don't want to keep it, hand it down to a nephew or a niece, or you know, because let me tell you, you know, there are kids who love to build their own computers, and you can get them started on something like this, and they get to do something creative, constructive, productive, you know, environmentally positive, and you know the old saying, idle hands are the devil's workshop. You know, nothing quite beats the satisfaction of knowing that you built something yourself, or made something yourself, or restored something yourself. And boy, it's got a nice, clean, fresh smell to it now, man. And This is what you can do to for your niece, your nephew, or whatever. Give them an old computer and let them have at it. Let them go. Let them, you know, let them. There, see, so much better already. And all I have to do is I can get some like rubbing alcohol in there and clean that part out, the dust. You know, clean it up. I'm going to punch these out. These can be punched out quite easily because I'm going to give it double DVD, CD drives. There's so many of them, people throw them away now, you know. And yet they're still useful and practical, those things. I'm going to get this thing running just fine. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful little computer. And yes, you'll see. Even though, you know, it's got a ways to go, it will happen. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know, there doesn't seem to be that much in here. I mean, I suppose I could vacuum it out. Something. Doesn't seem to be a lot. I'm just wondering, you know, how hard would it be to like pull this apart from here, you know, and really get in there, you know, like, but probably could all be vacuumed out anyway. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just wondering if it's really worth all the trouble to actually pull this apart. I can see the tabs, right? You can hear it. The tabs, you know. But boy, this really saw some. It probably collected this in stores just sitting there, because honestly I thought I chucked this thing. But I'm glad I kept it because I can still use it and put it to work. Now there's one of the tabs right there and here. But this is kind of old plastic. I'm almost scared to stress it out, because it could snap or break. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really vacuum it out well and then scrub it out well. So there it is. Listen to the old guy. Honestly, I've got experience working for me. Listen to the old guy. Alright? I can save you time and trouble, and I can give you a project and you can have lots of fun doing it. Don't give up on those old computers, guys. I realize it's only DDR2. I realize that this computer can probably only handle a maximum of 4 gigabytes of RAM, if you can believe that. So it's going to have a 32-bit operating system, because anything else would be a waste. Alright, but it's surprising what you can do with 4 gigabytes of RAM, I might add. And yeah, so you know, I'm going to make this little thing work, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it after, but it'll be my oh, I wanted to explain to you. I'm going to have to put this in the title. DEPB. In a joking sort of way. I told my friend down there in Quebec, my buddy, I said, well, you know, while I'm making this other build and while I'm working on this other computer, because that's what I do, I build computers, right? But I think I'm going to have to use my old DELL emergency poop box. Now I call it my DELL emergency poop box because it's my DELL emergency poop box. It's like a cat litter box, you know. It's like you know, it's useful, it's practical, it's handy, but you know, it's crap. I can't do anything really high end with it. You know, it's only got 4 gigabytes of RAM. You know, it's got a dual core CPU. But let me tell you something. You know, I don't mean this disrespectful, but this is going to be my DEPB. It's going to be my DELL emergency poop box number 2. So if these DELL emergency poop boxes are so bad, let me tell you something. Why am I making another one? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because test of time. Tested time, folks. You know, all these new, I read on forums all the time. I'm a PC builder, come on. Everybody having all these struggles with their new PCs and all their problems. You know what? It's relative. It's relative, guys. You can have trouble with DDR4 system, DDR3 system, DDR2 system. You know, I like to use RAM as a basis on age of computer because it's a good rule of thumb. You know what you're dealing with. When you got a DDR3 system, it gives you an idea of what kind of processor chip you're going to need for that. And you got a DDR4 system, you're going to need a different processor chip for that. Generally speaking, rule of thumb, I said, if it's a DDR system, well, see, now we're talking, okay, you got a DDR computer, you might want to save it for posterity's sake. I don't know what else you would do it for anymore because, now we're going back 20 years. Look, if your computer is 20 years old, you probably need to think about getting another computer. Okay, if it's 20 years old, you probably might want to go look at another computer, okay? But if it's like 10 years old, I would say, that there's still plenty of life in the old girl. You probably got at least another 5 years before, you can put it to pasture. And still some of the components may still be of some use. Okay. There's another thing too about as things are improving in time. I would say, okay, it's 2019 right now, right? So 20 years ago, year 2000, you are looking at a DDR computer. You're probably not looking at a DDR2 computer with terms of RAM. All right. That thing's old. All right. You really would want to consider for at least practical use. You could still keep it for, entertainment purposes, I guess. It will still work to some extent. You could still maybe make it a very slow NAS or, something like that. But for all intents and purposes, yeah, that's old. That's really old in terms of technology. But if you have a computer that uses DDR3 RAM, this is a DDR2, but if you have a computer that uses DDR3 RAM, I would say that you'd be good for the next 10 years with that computer. You could go up to 10 more years with that computer without too much issue. And I would say also that 20-year-old computer, if you can get Linux on it, you might be surprised what you can do with that 20-year-old computer. I'm just saying, all right? If you can get Linux running on it, you might be able to have some good times still with that 20-year-old computer. So I'm just saying it doesn't really stay quite like that, like where it's like if it's 20 years old, get rid of it. Because I'm going to tell you right now that I think we're entering a time where even 25-year-old, 30-year-old computers will still be functional. But they don't want you to know that. But there are ways of doing that, making computers functional and making them last, okay? But I'll give you a hint. Linux is a good start as an operating system. All right, I'm going to leave off that, and thank you for watching my cleanup video here. I'm just going to vacuum this thing out and polish it up and get that going. But yeah, there you are. Thank you for listening to the Old Redneck, and we'll talk to you again soon. And once, as usual, God bless. Thanks for watching and listening.